200 tons of scheduled waste. And the third phase will consist of another incinerator that have 1,000 tons of burning capacity. So in total, there are 6 municipal councils involved as stakeholders, many municipal council of Petaling Jaya, Shah Alam, Subang Jaya, Ampang Jaya, Hulu Selangor, and Selayang. So next. Apart from the municipal solid waste, the first scheduled waste to energy plant in Malaysia is located in the Integrated Waste Management Center. This is part of the 240 acres Sandiro Eco Park, operates by Quality Alam and Sandiro Groups. The last one, I think. Next. Okay, way forward. So we are at this juncture, at this point in time, what is the way forward? Number 1, we have to de-link waste from energy. Energy renewable plants, we have to speak to the government and also pursue the government to look for other sources, more sustainable sources for renewable energy, but not municipal waste, especially not through incineration. WT incineration release a lot of pollutants to the environment in the air and underground, and have proven a lot of problems in the track record. And most importantly, Malaysia as a signatory to Paris Agreement, Stockholm Convention, and also as a member of the United Nations, have to consider the latest United Nations Assembly resolutions 171 and 17166. YB William Leon from Selayang have just arrived. Thank you for your support, YB William. Yes. So Malaysia has to catch up on its renewable energy targets. 3 significant options like hydropower, solar energy, biodiesel or bioethanol for renewable energy options to align with the Malaysia's commitment to the Kyoto Protocol, which Malaysia has been a signatory since 2002. Okay. Shall I stop here? Maybe I wait for the question in the Q&A. With that, I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
All right. Those were 2 important last 2 statements. We have to delink waste from energy, and waste energy is not renewable energy. Thank you for that very comprehensive presentation of the waste to energy situation in Malaysia. The next speaker is from the Philippines. She's from Eco Waste Coalition. Nina Sarmiento is a development communication practitioner. She's been working in the agriculture and environment sector since 2019. Currently, she's working on debunking false solutions, particularly the waste to energy and corporate greenwashing, as a campaigner of the Plastic Free Pilipinas project of Eco Waste Coalition. Nina, are you ready?
Yes, po. Sure. Can you see my presentation on the screen?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, especially those who are listening and watching us virtually. Again,
We can't hear you. Can someone text her? Did she can? So maybe we can entertain one question. For
Coding in Progress, Environmental and Natural Resources, or the DKNR, said that we have 279 operational landfills, and with a total capacity of 66.87 metric tons, million cubic meters, I mean, and they plan to establish more landfills, since it is the only one allowed in our country. So, but since the government failed to address the growing generation of waste and the lack of infrastructure to properly dispose all this waste, they are seeing waste to energy as a solution. So, because of these drivers, there are laws in the Philippines that prohibit incineration, but there is also one that advocates for it. So there are some policies that do not really complement with each other. Philippines has a good law in terms of prohibiting incinerators, but still there's have a loophole on it. So first, we have the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2001, or the RE 9001, wherein it celebrated its 23rd anniversary yesterday. So, this law prohibits incineration and briefly mentioned WTE as one of the waste minimization techniques wherein
aside from that, we really want to make the community aware, and we have the capacity to participate and somehow impart their voices to the decision makers. With our capacity to link the community on WBA firefighting and legal works by conducting paralegal training. Since we have these lawyers that we are working with, they are conducting paralegal training so that this community are very prepared in terms of intimidation from the leaders, from the community builders, or even for the private sectors. So also we are trying to influence the educational institutions, the youth, and then other stakeholders in promoting zero waste as the real solution by having them participate in different trainings and activities. So right now, one of the Baguio City is very participative also at the same time with the zero waste initiatives. I believe tomorrow there will be a committee on their level institutionalized their so lastly, we really want to institutionalize the reuse economy. So we really want to back to the culture and traditional of how we are doing it before without this technology being introduced to us. And even though it's very challenging because there's no support, major support from the government to push through it, but there's many local and international organizations pushing for zero waste economy here in the Philippines that we are really helping hand in hand to make it happen in the future. So this is our reminder to all of us that cannot worry or worry our way out of it. So zero waste is the real solution. And with that, the situation of the So thank you for your time listening to my conversation.
Telling us more about how zero waste is possible. Yeah? So I will not preempt the keynote addresses on zero waste. You will learn how zero waste is not just a concept, it was an idea, it's not a concept, it is possible, it is being implemented, yeah? Even in Penang, in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia, you can also see the exhibition there. Zero Waste Malaysia is very active. Yeah? And so this symposium provides a valuable opportunity for us all to share our experiences and advocate reforms in our own communities, the government, the businesses, the industry, and also the waste management sector. Yeah? So please visit the exhibition during the breaks. We do have some long breaks so that you can mingle around with the exhibitors, yeah, and learn about their issues. And it is really very eye-opening and will inspire change. Yeah? We do not provide water bottles here. Yeah? So hope everyone brought your own water. Yeah? You have your own water bottle, that's good. We only provide lunch. There will be plates, but if you have your own containers, use your own containers and your utensils. Okay, so wishing you all a successful symposium, and we are around. If there's any issues or any problems, you can come to us, the Secretariat. Yeah, and there's Azrul and Trisha who is helping us for the online sessions. Thank you very much. Next, we are inviting Yuan Mei to tell us more about the symposium, yeah? How it's been.
Good afternoon, everyone. Selamat siang.
Good morning to our distinguished guests, the community members from Rawang, from Batu Arang, Bandar Kasih Puteri, Neram, Kuala Selangor. Welcome all of you. So first, why did we set the theme Debunking waste to energy incineration for Malaysia at the dawn of 2024? The reason being, on 14 December 2022, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Resolution 77-161 entitled Promoting Zero Waste Initiatives to Advance the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. At its 77th session, we proclaim 30th of March as International Day of Zero Waste for making fundamental changes in how society produce and consume goods and services, addressing the root causes for ending the waste crisis. The International Day of Zero Waste aims to promote sustainable consumption and reduce production patterns, support the society shift towards circularity, and raise awareness about how zero waste initiatives contribute to advancing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Under General Assembly Resolution 77/161, the President of the General Assembly, in collaboration with the United Nations Environment Programme and UN Habitat, convened a high-level meeting on the role of zero waste as a transformative solution in achieving the SDGs. On Thursday, 30th March 2023, last year, in New York, the USA, as a Malaysian delegate, Mr. Sofian Ahmad Abdul Khalid, the Deputy Permanent Representative of Malaysia to the United Nations, reiterated that Malaysia's commitment to embracing the circular economy model in the National Development Plan for Malaysia Plan 2021 to 2025, and Malaysia's Cleanliness Policy 2019, in which Malaysia's solid waste management will be strengthened to ensure compliance with existing standards set by the local, state and federal government. Waste will be managed holistically and sustained by intensifying the reuse and recycle initiatives. Domestic facilities for waste separation and recycling will be improved to support the initiatives, particularly in residential, institutional and commercial areas. Prior to the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 77/161, the European Union withdrew financial support to the construction of waste-to-energy incineration due to carbon dioxide emission problems, which contribute to the climate crisis globally. So, in 2003, the European Union called for a ban on investment in waste-to-energy and tax changes in the European Union remove public support for waste-to-energy investment.
Even the national government or regional government. But after this tragedy, the government closed their eyes. Oh, there is a problem. There is an important thing because it's a disaster. Lots of people died, and we need to taking this problem more seriously. And after that, the government elaborate and drafting waste management law. Finished 3 years later after this tragedy, and then the government commemorating this tragedy as the national campaign every 21st February next month as the National Awareness Day. So in Indonesians reflections on this tragedy and try to increasing the public awareness that the waste problem is serious thing, not as small as the government thing before the tragedy. So unfortunately, after this tragedy, the government also thinking the instant solution. Okay, the problem is the waste already be a mountain, a hill like more than 60 meters high in the landfill. Okay, we need to burning, we need to destroying. Waste is our common enemy, and we need to destroy. We need to
It's always harm. I hope those harms are obvious. Plastic is an ongoing environmental social justice problem. As the cost of managing plastic and in this regard waste generation has been externalized to cities and communities and away from those who are truly accountable for their production and use. Many cities in Asia are left with choosing between using limited public money to providing social services for people or managing waste, mostly plastic, that's being dumped on us. But we all know these problems. Many of us live it every day. And most unfortunate, these exact problems are being used to justify the push for end-of-life false solutions. And if those promoting waste energy would get their way, many communities would have to face the negative impact of these false solutions on their health, on their livelihoods, and in the environment for the years to come. The second week of the International Zero Waste Month focused on real solutions like composting, reuse, and zero waste cities and communities, with the goal of putting a spotlight on current working solutions already being implemented by many communities across Asia and around the world. This week, we are putting a spotlight on false solutions being promoted to address the problem of waste. And today's symposium debunking the myths around waste to energy integration in Malaysia is very timely and relevant. While you may be facing this issue urgently here, you are not alone. Many communities around the region are grappling with the same problem. We have to make sure that we are asking the right questions to ensure we get the right answers. When we ask questions like, what do we do with our waste? Or where should our waste go? Or how do we reduce the volume of waste already in our landfill? We have already lost the battle. These questions would lead us to false solutions that may make us feel like we're addressing the problem, but in reality, we're only perpetuating the very system that created the problem.
So that's the situation.
Today, I would like to invite everyone to reflect on a better question. How do we create a system that allows all of us to use the resources that we need without damaging the earth and its capacity to sustain not only us, but future generations? How do we create a system where nothing and no one is disposable? No community is a throwaway community. And how do we ensure that this system put most of the burdens to those most responsible? Especially to those who are profiteering the most out of this system. This is where zero waste comes in. Zero waste is the conservation of all resources by means of responsible production, consumption, reuse, and recovery of products, packaging, and materials without burning and with no discharges to land, water, or air. And that last element is important. Because when we build incinerators for waste to energy, what we're trying to say is that we don't want a landfill where we can see the waste. Rather, we want the waste to be in the air so that we can breathe it every day. To guide people in changing their lifestyles and practices, to emulate sustainable national cycles, where all discarded materials are designed to become resources for others to use. Zero waste means designing and managing products and processes to systematically avoid and eliminate the volume and toxicity of waste and materials, conserve and recover all resources, and not burn or bury them. Implementing zero waste will eliminate all discharges to land, water, or air that are a threat to planetary, human, and animal health. Now you might be asking, is zero waste truly possible? It is important to note that zero waste is both a goal and a plan of action. It is the destination, but equally important, it is the journey that we take. It is the future that we want, but also the actions that we take today. And in this regard, zero waste is not only possible, it is already happening. We are all familiar with the story of San Francisco or Berkeley in California. In Europe, more than 450 cities and municipalities have committed to work on zero waste. But when it comes to zero waste, we are proud to say Asia is home of solutions. And for good reason. Many cities and communities in Indonesia and the Philippines have proven it works and have been reaping the benefits for several years now. Cities like San Fernando in Pampanga in the Philippines have realized waste diversion of 56% when they implemented citywide zero waste program from a low of 30% in a span of 6 months, only 6 months. These allowed them to close the pilot waste-to-energy facility in the city. Why? After 2 years of the pilot waste-to-energy program, you are faced with the question, is it still logical to invest millions of public funds in something that is supposed to address the waste when the better solution is working? Now that they have reduced their waste, where would they get the waste that the facility would need? Would they now start importing waste from other cities just to sustain this facility? The city has come to realize that a waste-to-energy facility, even if it works, because in its context it hasn't worked after a 2-year pilot period, is not compatible with zero waste. Now, after more than 10 years of implementing zero waste, the city has achieved 86% waste diversion, the highest in the Philippines, and probably in Asia, and among the highest in the world. That means that 86% of their waste is no longer ending up in landfills and is instead managed within their communities via composting, recycling, and upstream policies that eliminate or prevent waste in the first place. These include policies like strong plastic and polystyrene bans and promotion of reuse and refill systems. These allowed the city to realize massive savings in public funds previously allocated for waste management. These also allowed them to generate local green jobs, tapping waste pickers now to be waste workers with better working conditions and higher income. And we don't have to go far. Here in Malaysia, we have examples of communities taking the lead in Penang. I invited to talk to my guest at Consumer Association of Penang to know more about these stories, or to Zero Waste Malaysia and other exhibitors outside in our Zero Waste Marketplace for other efforts here in Malaysia. I hope today to start a meaningful conversations between all of you in this room. We may not have all the answers today, but I hope to start with the right questions. And I would like to end by sharing a few questions of my own. For all our local officials and policymakers in the room, does it make sense to invest limited public money in solutions that aren't sustainable? Especially when local, low-cost, sustainable solutions exist. For all our community leaders, how can we ensure that our voices are heard? How can we ensure that those truly responsible for pollution are held accountable? Until when should we tolerate their excuse of using us